In the aftermath of Tony Stark's heroic and iconic death within Avengers Endgame, Marvel has frantically been searching around for a character to fill his rather sizable iron boots. And the character that can probably fill it is a character that's been staring them in the face this entire time. And that character is, of course, James Rhodes, or otherwise known as War Machine. Welcome back, Knights of Brimstone, to another video. And in this video, I really want to talk about War Machine and how, when you really look at it, he's the best character to take up the role of Iron Man within the MCU. Now, let me be clear to begin with. I'm not trying to say that War Machine should take up the mantle of Iron Man as if he should call himself Iron Man. I think he should keep with the name War Machine. That said, I think he can basically be pushed as the next Iron Man as far as he can get the movies, the TV shows, so on and so forth, and be the center of the overall MCU. Because when you really look at it, he's the one with a great deal of Tony Stark's resources currently speaking within the MCU. On top of that, he's the one with the greatest connection to Iron Man. When you're talking about someone who's going to be the heir to Iron Man, you're talking about a character who has to really be close to Iron Man, someone who's worthy of being the heir in the first place. If you look at anyone who's close to Iron Man, he is the number one person. Now, of course, you talk about Pepper Potts, but Pepper Potts has a child to raise. She has other bigger things to deal with at this moment. And of course, when we talk about his daughter, you're talking about a massive time skip towards that situation. Now, War Machine right now is an already proven person who is, we all know, Tony Stark's best friend, the closest person to him, the person that Tony Stark cares about probably the most, besides, of course, his wife and his child. So you're talking about a character who has a great relationship with Tony Stark to begin with, someone who probably already have access to all those things, someone who already has their own suit and their own way of doing things. I think that's incredibly important. And that's the second part about it. Like I just said a second ago, the own way of doing things. That's very important, because when you're making a actual side character take up the mantle of a main character, and I'm not saying he should take up the role of Iron Man, as far as he shouldn't take up the name of Iron Man, he should still maintain the name of War Machine. It doesn't change the fact that when you're having a character take up the role of an older mentor character, what you want to do is have that character have similarities to the original character whilst simultaneously having their own spin on things. And War Machine is literally the perfect example of this happening. War Machine is, when really done well, in comparison to Tony Stark, he is bigger, he's bulkier, he is slower, and he hits harder. His entire character and design is built around being exactly what his name is, a war machine. He really hits hard upon the heavy hitting style of what Iron Man could be when it comes to his shoulder cannons and whatnot, when it comes to all his different missiles and wrist mounted, guns and so on and so forth. These are all things that, first of all, let's be honest, are incredibly cool. They give him so much aura when done correctly. But on top of this is something that makes him well loved by the audience. The audience actually really likes War Machine as far as how cool he can be. A great example of this is actually, I remember showing this this one animation. I'll talk about this one animation. It's a new animation where he took War Machine and had him go versus and have a whole mission by himself, basically, where he fought different foes on that little animated type of movie type situation. And what a lot of people realize is that War Machine has a lot of potential in that specific context. His own spin on things would be more surgical strike type missions. It would be the idea of him going to war, and that would be a very interesting way to use his character. Even if he becomes an Iron Man like character, as far as he has to join an Avengers team, I would say even make him an Avengers team. Regardless, the very idea of it is that he would be the person who's actually more around and doing stuff like that. He would be going to the sky. He'd be the one coming down, doing these major surgical strikes on different targets and getting out of there. I think that'd be a really cool idea to use that character for that. And again, because he already has his own type of way of doing things, it makes it perfectly fine for him to do that. Now, of course, the main thing that's kind of in his way when trying to do this is that he does have some competition. There are some characters who people think should be in there before he is. And of course, I just mentioned Pepper Potts being the first one I just talked about. Again, she has, a kid. She cannot be really used as a successor to Iron Man. I think that would really work. The same thing goes for a character like, you know, his daughter. Since she's a young kid, you have to really do a massive time skip, a massive time jump for that. I just don't think that's a good idea necessarily. It's not necessarily a bad story in the future. I think it actually could be a story deep in the future in the MCU if you really wanted to do that. In fact, I can imagine at that point in time, War Machine being the older mentor figure to her. I think that could be an excellent story in the future, but in the here and now, I don't think it's a good idea. And then, of course, there's Riri Williams, or Ironheart, the character they attempted really hard to push as the next heir to Iron Man. But of course, the problem with her being that was basically everything. First of all, the character was incredibly unlikable. I made entire videos talking about how unlikable she is. Most people talk about how unlikable she is. Her show completely flopped because of that. On top of that, her suit wasn't anything unique whatsoever when compared to, again, Iron Man. It just looked like a Temu Iron Man suit, to be honest with you. Nothing special or unique about it for the most part. And then on top of that, she has no connection to Iron Man. I don't think she even likes the guy, to be honest with you. So she has no connection to Iron Man. She doesn't really like Iron Man at all. She has a suit that's doesn't distinguish itself from Iron Man suits themselves. And on top of that, she just, again, isn't anything unique. She's an unlikable character. No one cares about her. So ultimately speaking, when you look at the other candidates who he could have, you know, problems with, other candidates who could potentially be pushed as next Iron Man people, they all suck, to be honest with you, for the most part. Well, they all have major problems with them. Now, it's not to say War Machine doesn't have any problem whatsoever. He has issues with the overall character. For example, there are issues with him just fulfilling Iron Man's role because he's not as smart as Iron Man. Iron Man is a smart guy. Iron Man is a genius. He literally, within the MCU, created time travel. And that's just one of these small things that he's done, besides making the arc reactor and everything else he's done. He is an incredibly intelligent character, and War Machine was not a genius. He's a smart guy, yes, but he's not a genius in the same way in that scientific realm, which is why, again, what you would do is you would make that one of his kind of weaknesses, something he has to deal with. Maybe he'll need someone else, a tech person, to help him out with that. In fact, him joining up with Riri Williams and her being an actual sidekick to him, I think would be a good thing for her character. If you're going to keep her in the MCU, it would be a great thing for him as well. Ultimately speaking, he would need someone else to kind of fulfill that scientific role for him. But I think him actually fixing this suit shouldn't be a problem. He's been around these suits for a long time. He should be able to fix these suits pretty well. I think also the idea of him just, again, having these more war type mission, these surgical strikes, I think that's the best way to put that character. And I think his Avengers, if he makes an Avengers team, since he has the resources to do so, as he's connected to Tony Stark, it would make sense that his Avengers team would be more militaristic. But I'll talk about that more in a different video. For now, that's the video. What do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think War Machine should be the next guy to be actually pushed by the MCU? Or do you think there should be a different character who should take up the role of Iron Man within the MCU? You know, like the video, subscribe, comment down below, all that YouTube jazz. And until next time, stay ferocious and vigilant, Knights of Brimstone.